Alright, folks, this is what I was going to give you a quiz on today, but we ran out of time with what our lesson is over. This, you need to be prepared for a quiz tomorrow. If I give you a point and a slope or 2 points, no matter how I give it to you, you should be able to give me the equation of the line in a variety of different ways. Right now, I'm checking for standard form. On number 1, I'm giving you a point and a slope. What am I missing then? The b value. So you've got to plug in everything you know into y equals m times x plus b. So negative 6 equals negative 2/3 plus b. At this step, you could either be a calculator person to do the adding of 2/3 to negative 6, or get rid of the fraction, multiply everything by 3. Please don't forget to multiply b by 3 if you choose to do it this way. Negative 18 equals negative 2 plus 3b. Add 2 to both sides, I'm getting negative 16 equals 3b. So for number 1, I got negative 16/3 for the b value. And had I used my calculator at this step right here, before I multiplied by 3, I could have done negative 6 plus 2/3. Because to get rid of negative 2/3, you add 2/3 to both sides, and you're adding it to a negative 3. And look what I'm going to get, negative 5.3 repeating. Math, enter, enter, and sure enough, it's going to tell me the same y-intercept, negative 16/3. Now, if we were doing slope-intercept form, we would be done, or almost done. The answer is y equals negative 1/3 x minus 16/3. But what did I ask you to do? One step further and put it in standard form. So that means no fractions. Both of my denominators are 3. That makes my life easier. Multiply everything by 3. That becomes 3y equals negative x minus 16. And then all I've got to do is move that negative x to the other side. X plus 3y equals negative 16. And on your quiz and on your homework tonight, I do want you to make the x positive. So since my x is positive, I'm done. Now, number 2. I gave you a point and a slope as well, except I gave you a point and a slope in a tricky kind of way. You had to know about parallel lines. Parallel lines have the same slope. So that's how I was tricky. They have the same slope but different y-intercepts. So the only thing I needed from this was the 3. So I'm going to use this point and this slope to find my b. Negative 5 equals 3 times 4. Y equals m times x plus b. Negative 5 equals 12 plus b. What is b? Negative 17. Okay, so the slope-intercept form would be y equals 3x minus 17. This one's not that bad because I didn't have a fraction. I still have to get my x's together with the y's, though. So I'm going to move that over there, and that's negative 3x plus y equals negative 17. One last step. 3x minus y equals 17. Are we okay with that one? Number 3 to me was probably the trickiest because you had to remember about perpendicular lines. Again, I'm giving you a point and I'm telling you in a really tricky way what slope to use. If this slope is 3 and I want to be perpendicular, then what slope do I have to use? Negative 1/3. Remember, you've got to flip it and change the sign. So now I have my point and my slope. If you didn't do this one because you didn't know how to find a perpendicular slope, do it while I'm doing it. Plug everything you know into y equals mx plus b. Negative 5 equals negative 1/3 times 4 over 1. That's 4 is just the same thing as 4 over 1 plus b. Negative 5 equals negative 4/3 plus b. Here I can either use my calculator to add 4/3 to negative 5, or I could get rid of the fraction. I'm going to multiply everything by 3. That would be negative 15 equals negative 4 plus 3b. Add 4 to both sides. Negative 11 equals 3b. I'm getting b equals negative 11/3. And just to check myself, I'm going to go back to this step right here and do it the calculator way. Right here, I was supposed to add 4/3 to both sides, so I'm going to try it that way. I'm going to do -5 plus 4/3, and I get -3.6 repeating. Math, enter, enter. Yes, I did it right. That is -11/3. Okay, so I'm ready to write the equation in slope-intercept form. I got through all of that mess. That would be y equals -1/3 x minus 11/3. Standard form, though, has no fractions. Triple everything, multiply everything by 3. 3y equals -x minus 11. Move that -x over, and I'm getting x plus 3y equals -11. So please make sure you're ready for this tomorrow, folks. This is your review. Today is all review. Well, we're going to do linear word problems, which is kind of a review. Yes, number 4. I'm not done yet. Number 4 was a visual. I gave you a picture of a line with 2 points highlighted. Where do you go when you know 2 points? Stat edit. What 2 points am I going to put in there? -2, 1, and 1, 3. -2, 1, and 1, 3. And then stat, calculate. It's definitely linear. It gave me yucky decimals. That's y equals, what, 2/3 x plus 7/3? But I said I wanted in standard form, so you had to triple the whole thing. That's going to give you 3y equals 2x plus 7. Move the 2x over. -2x plus 3y equals 7. Force the x to be positive. 2x minus 3y equals -7. You could get the slope and then write it in point slope form and then convert it. Yes, absolutely. Did you hear what she said after what y'all? This is what y'all did yesterday. The slope of this line is up 2 and over 3, and then just pick a point. Like if I use this point right here, that would be this point's at -2, 1, right? So that would be y minus 1 equals 2/3 parentheses x plus 2, and then you could convert it from there. Yeah, you could do that. All right, we're going to grade homework at the end. Today's lesson, this is your review for your next major exam, folks. I want you to take a look at these questions. This was from end of course exams about 3 or 4 years ago. About 3 or 4 years ago, they changed up what Algebra 1 was supposed to teach. That's when they added things like quadratic formula and a few other things, okay? And that first year, I remember looking at the test as I was walking around, and to me it looked like an English test. There was all kinds of wordy problems that didn't look like much math was going on, like this one right here. Yeah, this is kind of just review. And you won't have time to really write down these questions, but I need you 100% focused and really concerned with these problems. Everybody, all the way down to the back row. And staying awake. Third row, everybody stay awake. Okay, read this to yourself. A lot of times, Julio, calculator's down, you don't need it right now. A lot of times they want you to read a situation and determine what the slope means, or the y-intercept means, or the x-intercept means. Okay, so I want you to think about this question very carefully. There's an answer that's very close to being correct, but isn't quite. There is a best choice to this question. Okay, so let's read that first sentence. They charge a basic rate of $50 to clean their carpets. What do you think that $50 is? That's the y-intercept. And then they charge an additional $35 per room. This isn't the x, it's the slope. Dollars per room. Slope is always a rate, a something per something. So how would I write this equation? Y equals 35x plus 50. So basically, to come out and look at your measure everything or whatever, they're going to charge you $50 just to come out. Then what do? They add $35 for every room. $35 per room. Now, this company is going to change their pricing. If the rate per room increases to $45, what did they not change? They didn't change the y-intercept. So what's my new equation? Okay, now I want you to look at the answer choices and consider, be very careful. It says which one is true. There's one down there that's true and all the rest would be false. Can I do what? Shout out to your Instagram? How about to your YouTube from when you were 8? Everybody check out Trajan's YouTube. All right, let's focus on this problem, okay? All right, what do y'all think? Yeah, unfortunately, this is the one that people fell for, and it is not C. It would be C if they added 2 more little words here. They will pay $10 more per room, but not necessarily $10 more. Like what? Let's say that you hire them just to come out and assess and decide not to use them. So if you get 0 rooms cleaned, how much are you going to pay? $50 on both of those. So it's not all customers are going to pay $10 more. Plus, what if you have 1 room, but your neighbor has 5 rooms? You're going to pay $10 more, and they're going to pay $50 more. They're raising the price $10 per room. It's not just everybody's cost is going up $10. Everybody's cost is going up $10 per room. So if you have 5 rooms, that's going to be $50 for you. If you have 1 room, that's going to be $10 for you. If you have 2 more rooms, that's going to be $20 more for you. So it's not all customers are going to pay $10 more. They're all paying $10 more per room. But look at choice D. A customer with 3 rooms will pay $30 more. That's true. If you put a 3 into this and get the answer, and then put a 3 into this and get the answer, this cost is going to be $30 more because they did 3 more rooms and they're $10 more per room. Does that make sense? This one was tricky. I was really upset about this question. But you got to watch out for the tricks, folks. Well, a lot of kids, this isn't one that I would think to teach. You know how they always find surprises. A lot of kids got to C and it sounded pretty good and they picked it and they didn't even go to D. D is absolutely 100% true. This one could be true if you had 1 room cleaned, then you would pay $10 more. But it's not always true. All right, look at this situation. I think we did one of these or this problem. But let's revisit it and make sure it's sunk in and that you remember. Look at the title, look at the X and Y axis, look at the slope and the y-intercept. They will ask you things about all those parts of a linear function. Right, Ramiro? Okay, can you read this question or read the title for me? There you go, yes. Cost of bowling, including shoe rental. Good job. What is the independent variable? No. Independent is always the x's. The words, what's on the x-axis? Yeah, it's your choice how many games you're going to bowl. The number of games bowled is what you're going to put in. What is dependent? That's always the y. What's dependent? The cost. The cost of your bowling is going to depend on how many games you bowled, how many games you played. All right, now figure out the slope. Always look carefully at the scale. This one happens to be counting by ones on the x and y axis, but they don't always do that. You have to look carefully at the scale. JJ, can you tell me the slope? Y'all better look alive out there. You better believe I'm going to pick on you. Yeah, JJ, can you count? Oh, sorry, JJ. Okay, I want to go, it's rise over run, and I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and over 1. Now, slope is always a rate, and it's always the y word or words over the, the y words over the x words. So that's 8 what? 8 $8, because this is in dollars, per game. It's the $8 per game. They're going to charge you $8 for every game you play. Okay, so the slope is 8. What is the meaning? It means they're going to charge you $8 for every game. What is the y-intercept? 2. Look carefully at that title that Ramiro so wonderfully read for us. What do you think the 2 is? That's a $2 shoe rental. So if you don't play any games, but you want to run around on their nice floors, how much is it going to cost you? Yeah, they're going to make you pay $2 to get in the door and walk on their wood floors. Okay, folks, stay with me or I'm going to pick on you. I'm just looking for the next victim. Whoever looks unengaged, you're next. Now, look at this. This, to me, looks like points. I am seeing that they're giving me some data points. What's one of the points they gave me up here? 1, 6.19. What's another point they gave me? 2, 738. 3, 8.57. Now, I have points. When I know points, I can go to stat edit. But you got to make sure you know it's linear. It didn't say it was linear, or I didn't write up there that it's linear. If you want to know if it's linear, make sure it's going up or down by the same amount each time. That's linear. That's when the rate of change is constant. So real quickly, in your calculator, do 738 minus 619. What's 738 minus 619? What is 857 minus 738? Is it going up by the same amount? It is linear. So when you know it's linear, where can you go? Well, you can go to stat edit, but you want to pick the linear regression. And you only need 2 points, so put in at least 2 points. If it's a line. If it's a line, you only need 2 points. Other functions need way more than 2 points. So I want you to find the equation for me. I know you guys have already figured out the answer, but find the equation for me, please. Y equals $1.19x plus 5. Okay, let's talk about this equation. What do you think this is? The cost per side dish. The cost per side dish. What do you think this is? The main course. If you just buy a plate of whatever, chicken fried steak, it's $5. You've never heard of chicken fried steak? Okay, anyways, it's $5 for the meal, and then they start charging you extra if you add sides. Kind of like at Luby's, right? Now, which one of these is true? A. The price of a meal without a side dish is $5. That's the y-intercept. This is not the price of a meal without a side dish. What is this? That is the price of a side dish. And then these just weren't true. So it's $1.19 per side dish, and it's $5 if you don't get any side dishes. Okay, we'll get to systems later. Systems later. Try this one, please, everybody. I'm looking for victims. Looking for sleepy faces or people looking at their calculator. You don't really need your calculator right now. We just did it, the calculator part. Okay, let's talk about this tank and this fuel and this problem, please. All right, and do you see how wordy these problems look? Okay, who wants to read it out? Well, I'll read it out loud so people on the video can hear. Or somebody come read it into my microphone. Hurry.
Fuel is being pumped into the empty fuel tank of an airplane. An what does that say? Instrument is being used to monitor V, the volume in gallons of the fuel put into the tank, and W, the weight in pounds of the fuel tank, including fuel. The relationship is modeled by the equation W equals 6.2 V plus 214.
Good job, Ashley. Good job, Ashley. Okay. Now, look at the equation. What is the independent? What's going in? The volume of the gas. That's how much gas you're putting in. What is dependent? The weight of the truck. What's happening to the weight of the truck? Okay, put it up. What's happening to the weight of the truck? Camilla, what's happening to the weight of the truck? It's not multiplying. What is happening to the weight of the truck? It's getting heavier because they're putting in more and more gas. So the total weight of the truck depends on how much gas you are putting into it. Now, was the truck weightless before we started putting gas into it? No. Obviously, the truck's going to weigh a lot, even without any gas in it. Now, what is 6.2? What do you think that is? That is the... Yes. The weight per gallon, pretty much. Yes. That's the weight of the gas that we're putting into the tank. What is the 214? That's usually where it starts, guys. That was the weight of the truck before we started putting in... Airplane, that's what I said. Airplane, that is the weight of the airplane before we started putting in fuel. So which one of these is true? Oh, I'm sorry. Look, which one is not true? So we were wrong. Which one's not true? Guys, we're going to run out of time. Y'all need to calm down. Okay, a couple of things. I misread this as well. Y'all listen. In the old days, they used to make the word not capitalized and bold. Then they stopped doing that, and kids stopped noticing it. So a lot of kids didn't see the not, and then they went, oh, 214 is the empty plane. Yes, that's it. That is true. Keep going, though. So if you didn't catch this, you should see a bunch of these are true. The fuel weighs 6.2 pounds per gallon. That's true. When the total weight of the fuel tank is 524, there are 50 gallons. Well, you got to check to see if 50, 524. If you put in 50 gallons, do you get back 524? So I would go to y equals and put that in. Look across from 50. Do you see 524? Or you could just do 50 times 6.2 and add 214. I don't know. Is it 524? Yes, this is true. You could either plug it into y equals and look at the t-chart, or you could just do the math. 6.2 times 50, and then don't forget to add the 214. And that's true. Now look at this one. If you put in 100, are you going to get back 314? No. Yeah, you're going to get, what, 620 plus 214, which is not 314. So this one was false. Okay, look at this one. I want you to write the equation of this line, guys. Trajan, I'm going to pull up your YouTube if you don't stop. Write this in standard form, which is what you're going to do on your quiz tomorrow. Everybody go, quickly. All right, who knows Trajan's how to get to his... Come here. Just that? That's all you put in? Yeah, if you don't get quiet, Trajan, we're all going to see you when you were 8 years old. And I'm going to put it on this video so all my future kids will see you. All right, standard form. Let's go, folks. Zoe, what is this in not standard form? Y equals what? Zoe. I'm about to move you up front. Y equals mx plus b. Wow. Thank you so much, Zoe. That is so helpful. What is this particular line in slope-intercept form? Wait a second. I've been waiting 5 minutes. Y equals 2/5 x minus 2. Now, what did I ask for, Zoe? Standard form. Convert this. Y'all better be paying attention. Multiply everything by 5. And then I want the x positive. That's going to land at 2x minus 5y equals 10. Originally, if you move the x over, you would get 2x plus 5y equals negative 10. But I want the x to be positive. All right. Now, this is not really linear, but this is one of those ones where I really don't know how to prepare you for it. They always find some surprises. I don't think it's that difficult. Please read it and think about it and pick your best choice. Raise your hand when you know the answer. If you think the answer is A, show me one finger. If you think it's B, show me 2. C, 3, D, 4. I don't know what 10 fingers means, Jaquan. Okay, so a car is traveling away from its starting point, then it stops for a brief period of time, and then it travels back towards its starting point at the same rate. Which of the following would be the right picture? It's C. Okay, y'all pick D? D never stops. Okay, what's happening right here is when the vehicle is stopped, because time is moving on, but what's happening to distance? The distance is staying constant. The distance isn't changing. Time is changing here, but distance is not. So he started driving away from home, or wherever he was started from, stopped for a while, and then started going back towards home at the same rate. It's just one's going up and one's going down, because he's going away from home and then back towards home. Did anybody pick B? On B, they started counting time, and he wasn't even moving yet. And he started away from home or wherever, and then he started driving back towards home. And this one never stops, and I don't know what's happening here. Time somehow jumps from here to here. All right, try this one, guys. Everybody, eyeballs up here, Zoe Guy. That's exactly, you didn't do what you're supposed to do. Y equals mx plus b. That's what you did. Trajan, if I have to call your name one more time, we're watching it. Mm-hmm. Okay, Trajan, I'm pulling it up. Let me search it up while you guys do this problem. Is that? I don't even know. Let's see. This one? All right. Get busy. Trajan, that's called paybacks. You were cute. Get over it. It was cute. Trajan, you were adorable. Sorry, I'm just crushing souls and yeah. All right, folks. we got a square piece of land here with a pond in the middle. Okay, now how big is each side of the square? S. So what's the area of the square? S squared. Now, how much is the pond? Now, if we want to find the area of the garden without the pond, you got to subtract it. This one was C. Come on back in, Trajan. That was an adorable picture. Come on now. Okay, try this one, please. Oh, good to know. Good to know. What? You're not what? Okay, do this problem. Trajan, come on now. Don't make me watch the video. Don't make me watch the video. Alright, this is linear. So you could find the equation. Some kids realized the pattern and just continued the pattern. Do you see how the inputs, which the inputs are time in seconds, the outputs are temperature, because the temperature is increasing the longer you leave this over the flame or whatever, the stove or whatever. So the time is increasing by 5, and this is going up by, I think it was 5.5. So you could just continue the pattern. 25, but make sure you go to 30 seconds. So add 5.5 and then add 5.5. You also could go to stat edit and put in 2 points. It's definitely linear because it's going up by the same amount each time. And then you could look across from 30 and see what the answer is. And what is it? It is 108. If you added 5.5 and then 5.5 again, which is just like adding 11, 97 plus 11 is 108. Okay, next. This one was tricky, guys. Please, please, please. And again, I had never seen a question like this. It's not a routine kind of problem. They always find weird ways to ask questions. Trey, it's going to be okay. Trey, we all love you and you were cute. What? This was a star question. I don't know what year it was, but it was on. It was? This was on the mock star y'all took already? Oh, okay. So they must like this kind of problem then. Trajan, seriously, calm down. Trajan, do this problem. You know what? Math makes you feel better, Trajan. How can you be depressed about that? That was the cutest picture I've ever seen. Yes, that was adorable. Okay, have y'all figured this out? Now, there's lots of different ways to do it. You need to understand that they are telling you what you can use for x. What kind of numbers can you use for x? You can use 5 or anything that's less than 5. Okay, so they want to know what y values would be possible. Well, all I did was go to y equals and I put in the function rule y equals negative 15x, and then I looked at my table of values. Okay, a value of 5 gives me back negative 75. So is it okay to have a y value of negative 75? Yes. Okay, now look at the other y values. Remember that x has to be either 5 or smaller. So could I use 6 for x? No. Look what 6 is going to give me. So what y value is not allowed? Yeah, this one's not allowed. All the other y values you will eventually see if you start scrolling up for x's that are less than because it told you you can only use x values that are 5 or smaller. So you can use all of these x values, negative 10, all of these. You can use all of these up to number 5. That's the highest y value you're going to have then is negative 75. I'm sorry, not the highest. That's the lowest y value you're going to have. What are all the y values doing? They're going up. So anything lower than negative 75 for a y value is not allowed, because that would mean you're using an x value that's bigger than 5, and they told you couldn't do that. So this is not going to be allowed. All right, try this one, please. Trajan, get back in here. Okay, he's not really upset, is he? Okay. Okay, try this one, folks. Seriously. Trajan, get in here. Okay, but this is looking at slope and y-intercept changes. First of all, what didn't change? The y-intercept did not change. What did change? The slope. Remember, if the slope gets smaller, the line gets flatter. Fractions make you flat. And fractions make you fat if you're a parabola. It gets wider and flatter. Okay, so which one is steeper? Which one's steeper, guys? Now, which one is saying that G is steeper? They're saying it the other way. They're saying that F is less steep. That's the same thing as saying that G is steeper. And if you weren't sure, graph them. This one is going to be steeper. All right, I'm not quite done with you. All right, try this one. All right, try this problem while Trajan recovers. All right, seriously, folks, look at this problem. This is about ordering songs. Okay, so you're going to order some songs. They charge you for the songs, and they also charge you a processing fee. What do you think the slope stands for? The cost per song, which is basically what this is saying, the cost of each song. What would the number of songs ordered, what would that be? That's what you put in for X. What's the processing fee? That's the $1 y-intercept. What's the total cost of the order? That's whatever you get back for Y. And the 60 cents is the cost per song, or the cost of each song. Okay, solve for Y here, folks. Quickly, let's go. Now, you can almost look at this and tell if you're going to need to flip or not. I can tell before I even start the problem that there's a -2 in front of Y. What does that mean? I'm going to have to flip the symbol. Move the 7x to the other side. It becomes -7x. I'm about to divide by -2. It becomes Y is less than 7 over 2x minus 4. It was C. Yes. No, not by any number. Whenever you divide by a negative number. If this had been a positive 2y, we would not have flipped. It's only when you divide by a negative. All right, look at this one, folks. This one's not linear, but I want you to make sure you remember these as well. Instead of looking at the slope change, they're looking at the effect that A has on it when you change it. What do they want to do to A? They want to double it, not square it. They want to double it. What happens if you double the value of A? It's going to get skinnier. Okay, so here's the regular one. If you double it, it's going to get skinnier. Remember, fractions make you flat and fractions make you fat. So if we'd made the A value smaller, it would get wider. But we made the A value bigger, so it's going to get more narrow. It's going to get skinnier, more narrow. Okay, look at this one. This one gave me a headache when I looked at it because I could not handle reading all of these statements over here. So this is what I did. I wrote to the side. I looked at the slope. Like the slope of this line is C, and the slope of this line is A. Which slope is bigger? A. Do you see how A is steeper? Bigger slopes make steeper lines. So A has to be bigger than C, or another way to say that would be C is less than A. So I'm going to look for one of those statements. Look at the y-intercepts. This y-intercept is D, and this y-intercept is B. What's bigger? D is bigger than B, or B is less than D. Which one is saying those two things? This one right here. A is bigger than C. This slope is bigger, but this y-intercept B is smaller than this y-intercept of D. Okay, let's see. Try this one real quick. This one's easy. So how much do we have to spend? So we have $10, so our purchase better be less than $10. Which one's showing the purchase correctly? Less than $10. This one. You got to multiply the cost per pound. This one, these aren't correct because they're adding. This one's not right because if you only have $10, you can't have your purchase be more than $10. It had to be B. All right, we're going to stop there. Get your homework out. Let's get it graded.